I don't drink soda.
You ready?
Yeah.
Yo, thank you for tuning into the Natural Habitat Podcast. My name is Mikey Booyah.
My name's Awesome Ty.
We got Satchmo with us. He's a hand puppet. There's really not much more to his story. It's just that he's a sentient hand puppet, but he won't be talking during the show.
No, we've kind of phased that out.
Computer's here. He's the one and only artificially intelligent podcast co-host. We're also joined by Free Candy up north.
Up in Canada. Yeah.
Say hello, Free Candy.
It's fantastic, but we'll check in with you later.
Smart Plug is also here. Now, we found out that there's something in his contract saying that we're not allowed to remove him from the show. He still isn't able to talk.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just really a plug. Just a basic plug.
Jerry's here, and we also have Stizzy 40s in the house.
Stizzy 40s.
This episode, as long as every other episode, brought to you by Stizzy 40s. Stizzy 40s is a great product from a not so, not as great company, we'll say.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good. I haven't smoked this vape in a long time. I was just trying to use it to create a ambiance around here.
Ambient smoke, yeah.
Now I started smoking it. It feels kind of funny.
Oh, really? Like,
Yeah.
is it old or just...
It might be old. Maybe it's poison. Maybe
it's definitely poison.
Maybe it's hitting me wrong. Or maybe I'm just not used to vaping, so it's giving me a buzz. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of exciting things going on in the world.
Yeah.
One of which is there's a sale on Nabisco products.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at your local pavilions.
Nabisco product, I mean, they make a wide range of products, and a lot of products you wouldn't have even guessed are made by Nabisco.
Yeah. You know what? Probably the most striking product that I didn't think was made by Nabisco, but is?
What's that?
Ham, spiral cut ham.
Spiral cut, all of them. All, actually, the ham, they say upwards of 90% of the ham market is actually made by Nabisco.
Hormel, Cured 8 or whatever.
Yeah. That's
Jim.
a Nabisco subsidiary.
Yeah. So all of these products are on sale. You can use either the coupon in the respective app, or you can use the code NHP at checkout. These are both, tomato. Get yourself a deal on all those Nabisco products. That's been one of the most exciting things for me. Let me close this up.
Yeah.
What do you think your favorite thing is in current culture?
Probably the Nabisco sale as well.
Yeah, the Nabisco sale too.
Yeah.
It is exciting.
It's really exciting.
It's a cool thing because you go to the store. These Nabisco products, they're $4.49.
Outrageous, but you use that sale and you're saving 50, 60, maybe 70% off.
Yeah, you're getting them for 99 cents a piece, but you got to get 4.
Do you remember the alternative to Cheez-Its that's no longer around? You don't see them anymore. Cheese Nips.
Oh yeah, I do remember
better.
Cheese Nips.
I feel like Cheese Nips, and I can't confirm this, but like nostalgia-wise, my mind is convinced me that they were superior to Cheez-Its.
Yeah, they had more powder.
Yeah.
Because the powder was of lesser quality, so they were able to give you more.
Yeah, those went hard.
Yeah, and when you're on a level like Cheez-Its, it's like you don't need the quality cheese, The more processed the cheese, it's not really going to matter at that point. It's not on a frogwa, So that low quality extra dust was where it's at. And they had something happen probably with the CEO. There was like some sort of termination maybe because they're gone.
Almost certainly. Some sort of child trafficking possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, with these CEOs, you really just got to come to expect those now.
Cheese Nips are absolutely gone. Everybody out there, sound off. Let us know your favorite retired Nabisco snack.
Yeah.
Cheese Nips were Nabisco, right?
Also, if you've been like hoarding a stash of, like a surplus of Cheese Nips all these years and they are still, relatively shelf stable and you want to send some to us, please feel free to do so. We'll eat them right here on the show.
Yep. Now, another thing that I want to bring up that was exciting that happened recently was the new Pope was announced.
The new Pope, yes, I heard about this. I don't really keep up with the happenings of the Catholic Church typically.
No.
But it seems like every few years, one of these old men dies, they perish, and they're suddenly the Catholic Church
popes
makes
are
a
old.
big dog and pony show out of appointing a new pope who's probably going to be dead in just a few years.
You got the doves, you got the white smoke, you got all
it's
these
a whole
things.
thing. It's a whole thing, yeah.
And then, for whatever reason, they bring on these popes that are already 92 when they start. So they're going to die soon.
And like the media covers it like it's, like some big political election. Or it's like, what does the Pope even do? I don't know that many Catholic people. I know there's a lot of Catholic people, but it feels like Catholicism doesn't really have like a central, it's not like Christianity. I feel like it's kind of like a distant, side offshoot religion. And I just don't understand why like the Pope garners so much attention.
Well, the way I see it, like the Vatican is its own country. It's not held under the rule of the country that it's within.
Is it?
Yeah, it has its own laws and they handle things internally, which that's the whole thing about the Catholic priests that are assaulting people is that it's handled within the Vatican. So there's no police reports filed. There's no anything like that.
I mean, Catholicism notoriously has this seedy underbelly where we're constantly hearing about these things. I'm constantly getting targeted ads being like, hey, were you victimized by a priest or a pope or a Catholic church figure?
Yep.
I mean, so that's definitely still an ongoing issue, or else they wouldn't be targeting, people that have just... It's like they feel like they can just throw a dart, blindly and have it stick into somebody that was raped by a Catholic priest.
Which it sounds like they can. Sounds like you could just throw a rock and hit someone.
Apparently, if you don't have to like target your demographic a little bit more specifically to where like you feel comfortable, just go ahead and advertise this to everyone. We're bound to get some.
Because that's the thing is because they don't call the cops, it's all handled internally. What they end up doing is just moving the priest.
Move the priest,
to a place with uglier kids.
Yeah.
So that way there's less of a chance, know?
And it's just like, how does that even become to be such a problem for them? Like, I mean, obviously, like, there's creepy people in all walks of life, but like, why does the Catholic Church seem to have a much bigger problem with, you don't hear about
because they don't
this.
stop it. They don't nip it when it starts.
Like,
they just move it and hide the problem.
I mean, but it seems like they're turning out a higher percentage of pedophiles than any other religion to begin with. I don't know, but
something about that position is probably attractive to someone who is a pedophile because...
Oh, are we supposed to self-censor? Like, you can't say that.
Oh, PDF file.
PDF file?
Yeah. So someone that is a PDF file probably looks at that position and is like, yo, I have access to all these kids. I'm a respected official.
So you're
and then if I do get caught, I'm just going to get transferred to fresh kids.
Established PDF files are then turning to the Catholic Church to... I see.
Because it gives them more opportunity.
You don't think that there's something in Catholicism that's breeding this, like from an early age?
That's turning people that wouldn't normally be PDF files.
I mean, it could just be,
it's converting them.
It could just be like a generational thing, like, children are being victimized by these priests, and then that's causing them to become priests and victimize. And it's just this vicious cycle of pedophiles. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know either. But imagine, you become this new pope. You get thrown into this world. You're 92 years old. Now all of a sudden you're at this desk. They're presenting you all of these fresh allegations from all these priests around the world. You're getting all of these zoning issuances from the city because the Vatican is built on this area of land that isn't owned by the Vatican. And you're dealing with all of these, bureaucratic issues from owning your own country.
What do you think the Pope does, like, on a day-to-day basis?
Everything. I think he's very stressed, and that's why they die fast. Everything is on him. All the decisions are on the Pope. Yo, we got to figure this out. We gotta, what's gonna...
You don't think it's more of just like a symbolic figurehead position to where like he actually does very little poping?
No, I think that's what they want you to think. So that way people will still become Pope. But then once you get in there, it's crazy. You're pretty much the president of the Vatican.
Do you think that these men even want to become pope? Like, are they given an option? Can they like recuse themselves from consideration, or do you think that like if you're a priest, like
It might be like an arranged marriage.
it almost like the military draft, you're just like secretly hoping that God, I hope I don't get drafted to Vietnam or to be pope, and then it just happens.
Well, I don't think that they would have reach around the world, but maybe they would, because this new pope for the first time is American.
See, this is a interesting turn of events, because I typically picture the pope as being like a elderly Italian man, from residing in where is the Vatican? It's like by Italy, right? It's
Yeah, the Vatican's got to be in Italy, right?
Something like that. So
Yeah.
I typically picture him with having like a pronounced Italian accent, just
And he's
kind of
like,
like a
I'm the pope.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But all of a sudden, we've got this pope who was born, as far as I know, in Chicago.
And
I
he's
don't know.
like, oh, hey, I'm the pope over here.
I mean, he may have been forced to move to the Vatican, I would imagine. But I mean, we've got an American pope here.
Yeah, we got an American pope. They forced him to move to the Vatican. But this guy, just a regular guy.
He's a Cubs fan. He's he's just a typical Chicago guy. He probably knew Chief Keef in them.
Mm-hmm. And I saw a video about some girl whose mom used to fuck the Pope on the low. It was her sneaky link, they call it.
Yeah. I've seen multiple people on X just claiming that they have distant ties to the Pope through one interpersonal relationship to another. It's kind of wild.
Yeah. So now we have this American Pope who's a real guy, and that proves that the Vatican has power to reach outside of Italy and pull someone from this comfortable life hanging out with Chief Keef,
like,
banging people's moms.
What? Yeah, exactly. But like, what's he gonna do now? Like, is he gonna? I mean, what does the computer? What all does the Pope actually do?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, a Pope is the head of the Roman Catholic Church, considered the spiritual leader and successor of St. Peter. The Pope is responsible for guiding the Church, making doctrinal decisions, and representing Catholicism worldwide.
Okay, so he represents the church and makes doctoral decisions.
So is he just like, I mean, does he go from city to city and like shake hands and just be like, yes, I'm with the Pope, or I guess he doesn't
he's
even
tied
have
to
the
his
accent
desk
now.
at the Vatican doing paperwork, making decisions, writing
What
emails.
decisions? I mean, Catholicism is like a long established religion. Like, is he just constantly like updating policy and being like, you know what, like maybe this didn't happen in the Bible, or I just don't really understand what the need for.
Well, maybe they get a deal from their distributor on a shipment of wine for Sunday Mass, and they're like, yo, this wine, some of it was tainted. This one looks to be okay. I'll give it to you for half price. The Pope has to make that call. Do you want to risk the congregation, get the wine at half price?
Yeah.
Or do you want to buy the full price wine, not save as much money, but still get the job done?
That's a tough decision to make, and that very well may be the case. But why then is like the Pope being appointed such a thing, like a worldwide event? Like, why do people care?
Well, just because someone has to make those decisions. Sorry.
No, it was a little floaty spider.
Oh shit! Was it? Was it really?
Just one of those little hanging ones that just dangles in front of you. You gotta swat it out of your.
There's another one.
Yeah. We're being attacked by spiders.
Are we being dropped down on by spiders?
We are.
That's kind of scary. The Pope has to make all these decisions for this whole, religious group. Like, say, the Pope Mobile. It's like a Batmobile, but it's for the Pope.
Yeah.
And it has a big bubble on it.
The big bulletproof thing.
Big bulletproof
they tried
bubble.
to gun down the Pope once, notoriously. Yep. And
so now they got this Pope Mobile that's all specially built with this Pope cage, and it's got a check engine light on, right? You take it to the shop, and it says, it's going to need a new evap sensor. It's going to need a new fuel rail sensor harness. And you're like, how much is that going to cost? They say it's going to be $5,000. Now, whoever drove that car to the shop, they can't make that call. They can't be like, yeah, put it on the church, It's got to go up to the Pope. The Pope's got to look at everything.
So you think he's just micromanaging like finances and doing that sort of thing, just kind of working as like
That's one of 1,000 things.
a general manager for the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm. And he makes that call. He says, "We'll do it. You know, we need a Pope mobile. You can't just go drive out there in a Lexus. You need the Pope mobile with the bubble, and you can't just put that bubble on any car. It's like specially made."
Yeah.
So someone has to make those decisions, and it's nice that this new Pope might be around longer than, what do we get, 5 years out of every Pope? I feel
like it. It seems like we've gone through several popes in the past decade.
Which is odd. Like, you'd think that there would be one Pope for like 50
I feel
years.
like my whole childhood it was Pope John Paul something, and he was like an enduring, long time Pope, and then eventually, just as it does with all of us, old age caught up with him, and since then we've just gone through popes seemingly every other year. I mean, I could be wrong about my timeline here, but I feel like we've gone through several popes.
We have.
In the course of the past decade or so.
They're all hella old, and we need a Pope that's in their 40s, And this guy might not be in his 40s, but he's closer.
It's just like, no different than American politics. Like, we've got these decaying, aging dinosaurs responsible for making decisions for people that are going to outlive them by decades.
Yeah, and you always hear this, and then it doesn't really mean much. Like, it didn't mean much to me. I just, I get it. Yes, that's true. They're old. They're decrepit. They don't know shit. But maybe you kind of hope that they're in the know a little bit. And then you see, like Senate hearings with Mark Zuckerberg or whatever, where they're asking questions about data, and they don't know anything about anything.
Nothing.
They don't know how computers work at all.
No, and I mean, like,
or the TikTok hearings.
Our
where
society now is so dependent on rapidly evolving technology, and most of these politicians and boomers and people responsible for making decisions couldn't even open a Microsoft Office doc.
They literally don't know how computers work.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they're the ones making the decisions, and it's nuts. So
yeah, fuck this Pope.
Yeah.
Fuck this Pope.
Wait,
he's
old. He's old? Is he too old?
He's too old.
How old is he?
He's not in his 40s.
He acts like he's in his 40s.
Computer.
And now, we have to, because of the time. Now that, he acts like he's in his 40s. And speaking of 40s, Stizzy 40s.
Stizzy 40s, great. It's a product that's available.
It's a great product.
It's widely
product.
available.
Great product.
You can find this, most places that carry weed products. So it's going to be easily available. It's kind of like the, almost like the McDonald's of weed delivery services.
Yeah, it kind of is.
It's, like, is it the best? No, it's not the best. Is it the cheapest? No, it's not the cheapest.
It's pretty cheap. It's actually not bad.
It's
you get a quarter for the price of an 8.
It's very available.
It's very available. And you can use the code NHP, save 40.
40, Stizzy 40s.
Save Stizzy 40s, yeah.
40% off.
Get a 40s, yeah. Get a 40.
Yeah.
You don't really save anything.
No.
We couldn't work out a deal to where the
and we've also yet to receive any sort of compensation for this. I just want to point that out. I know I brought it up a few episodes ago.
We have a lot of unpaid invoices.
Big concern of mine, yeah.
But just because they're late on following up with their deal, which I'm sure that's all it is, they're just late. It's not that they're not going to follow up. They're not going to come through. Just because they're late doesn't mean that we have to not honor our side of the deal. We made a deal. We're going to honor it.
We're trying to be the bigger men here.
Yeah. So, Stizzy 40s, go get them at your local dispensary. Let them know that we sent you there.
And also let them know that they need to pay us.
Yeah. And contact Stizzy. Let them know that they need to pay us.
That would be great.
Yeah. Maybe tweet at them, or what do they call it now? X at them?
I don't know.
Maybe post
I still call it tweet.
Yeah. Tweet at them. Hit them on their Instagram and be like, hey, you should pay Natural Habitat Podcast. That would be great. We would enjoy that a lot. So I did something exciting last week. I went to an event called Bingo Loco. Have you heard of this?
Just from your Instagram story, I'm not familiar with the event. Like, what is it?
So this is a half rave, half bingo. And it's a seated rave, so it was at the Fremont Theater. So you're sitting in like theater seating.
Okay. And
on the bottom floor, they had a bunch of long tables with like chairs along the sides. And you get a bingo card when you go in. They have a DJ, they have a host, and then they have like a referee type guy who's like a second host.
Okay.
And they play old 90s music. Like it was all like Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears
So, like,
and
pop-
house
very
music,
pop
house
heavy?
pop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it was real like 90s party. They were dressed in like an Oliver Tree colored like outfit, you know?
Yeah, a lot of fluorescent colors.
Yeah. And like the 90s paper cup like type of look.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
It was a rave designed for people that were 35 and older. And it would make you feel like you were out until 3 a.m., but you'd be in bed by 11. And this guy that was hosting it was like 38. And they had all these prizes, like an air fryer and fucking a bunch of like goofy shit like that. One was a dildo. And then the grand prize was a trip to Vegas. You get like a flight out to Vegas and a hotel room. And they just played music, called numbers. You get like a card that had 3 games on it. And they played like one game at a time. They called the numbers, get them off. A few people would get bingo at the same time. And then those people would have to compete in like a lip syncing challenge or do the Macarena. And whoever wins that by crowd applause gets the prize. And it was like this event that really just like took care of itself. Like everything just moved smooth. You could tell by where you were within the game, like how much time was left. And it was just like good time, everybody drinking, everybody smoking. Like we had our stizzies and we're smoking in the Fremont because they just let you do that. They don't care. They just let you smoke in there. It's crazy. Craziest thing I've ever seen.
Okay.
And I think that we can either become Bingo Loco franchise owners and literally throw a weekly Bingo Loco here, just at Fremont Theater every week. Fucking
Every
Bingo
week,
Loco.
you think it would draw in those numbers?
Yeah. And maybe every other week. And the event just takes care of itself. You run it, you make hella money. And then the dude who was the host, how that worked was he would do shout outs. You would tip him on every seat was like a little QR code with his picture. And you would scan that. It would bring up like his Venmo, PayPal, and like Cash App. You tip him and then he would read your shout out on whatever you said. So the whole night he's like screaming out stuff, taking like suggestions from the audience on what to do. And then based on how much you tipped him, he would like lean into your thing more. So this dude just making bank.
Yeah.
And it said specifically, send this as friends and family. So that way they didn't take a cut of it.
That's wild.
And we could do that and just stack up money. People are just drinking. They're spending money. They're shouting out their dogs, you know, doing the whole thing. And it was actually a lot of fun.
That sounds sick.
I went into it thinking that it would be fun. Like, it's not like I was like, maybe we'll see what this is all about. I was like, yeah, man, fucking Bingo Loco. That sounds cool as fuck.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it turned out to be hella fun. They gave you like these little light up things. We were just dancing all night. I took some mushrooms.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded the reels you posted looked cool. I
Yeah.
mean, like I couldn't really figure out. I assumed it was something bingo related, like basically like a bingo rave, like you said. But as far as like the inner workings, I couldn't really tell. But that sounds fun.
The guy didn't really describe how to play it. He just like started reading off numbers, and he didn't explain that like we were playing one game, but all of the boards on that game, and that every number that he called off would be on there somewhere.
Was it like a blackout bingo or like?
It was like a regular. There was like each game. There was like 5 games per sheet, and then they all had rows with numbers, and then some of them were blank, and you had to get like a whole row filled out. And each row was like, the first one was the ones, 1 through 9. Second row was the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s. And you didn't really realize that until halfway through the first game.
Oh,
He would say like 4, and then I would be scanning the whole board for 4.
it was just
like,
the first one.
yeah, and it was
Gotcha.
going to be in the first row. And then finally everybody figured out how to play it. He had to like re-explain it. But it was hella fun, and we could easily franchise it or start our own knockoff.
Just a rival bingo loco.
A rival bingo loco. And call it something else that's really close. Throw our own bingos. It'd be lit.
That'd be sick.
And it's just money, dude.
That would be sick.
It's all money. So, Bingo Loco, I highly recommend it, especially ours.
Yeah.
When we start throwing our own Bingo Loco.
That's coming at you soon. And another thing that's coming at you real soon is do you want to take the honors of announcing?
To announce it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So not only, I wouldn't say it's coming to you soon, I would say it's here.
It's here.
It's live.
It's on the market.
Mm-hmm. And that is our brand new crypto coin, NHP Coin. NHP Coin, it's called.
You guys have heard of Bitcoin. Well, this is, I mean, like you know, picture Bitcoin, and you may know very little about Bitcoin. You may know a great deal about it, but you know it. You know it. It's become like a household name.
Yeah.
You know it's a big thing. It's taking the financial world by storm. Well, now picture a different coin, a different similar crypto coin, called the NHP coin. That's far better than Bitcoin.
Far better, much younger.
Much younger.
Much hotter.
Way hotter. More untapped.
Yep.
So the you know, like you heard about all these people buying in on Bitcoin very early in the game and just becoming these massive millionaires.
Big money.
Big money.
Big
well,
money.
that's what we're presenting you, the viewer, with an opportunity to do is get rich. Get rich because you're getting in on the ground floor, baby, and this is an elevator that's going to the moon.
That's right. And if you jump on now on NHP Coin, then you can be one of those people that bought in for, $40, $50, $170.
Just a couple $1,000.
And that turns into millions.
Yeah, so the more that you're able to initially invest in an NHP coin, the more of the market share you have, and that's going to translate to more bucks for you. Now, granted, we're not telling you that you should just use this as like a quick way to make a buck, because we're talking long term here. We're talking you hold on to this coin, you grow with it, it grows with you, and you watch it go from being this cryptocurrency that's only available on like a crypto marketplace or whatever, to something that you can go to Circle K with. You can pay with your NHP coin.
Yep.
You just scan your little thing and you pay with it, and you even get maybe 40% off if we work something out with Circle K. We don't know yet, but the opportunities are countless, and there's just really no telling how far this can take all of us.
Yeah.
So really exciting opportunity for you guys, and as NHP viewers, we're giving you the first opportunity, because when the media catches wind of this, it's gonna spread like wildfire.
Yeah.
And by that point, it could be too late. I mean, you'll still be able to buy it, but by that time, the price is already
it's
gonna be through
way
the roof.
more.
So right now, this is the cheapest the NHP coin is ever gonna be.
And there was a guy, I remember when Bitcoin first started, there was a guy that bought $15,000 of Bitcoin, let it sit on some computer somewhere in his attic, collect dust. 20 years later, he pulls it out. He goes in, that's worth $1.3 billion.
That's right.
So that could be you.
That's
you
right.
can buy into NHP Coin, and it's going to be in the description of this episode. You can go in there, you can click it, you can buy it, you can get in. This is your opportunity. We don't own any NHP Coin yet, so before you buy, we are going to need you to help us acquire the coin for ourselves, so that way we can become the sole subsidiary and owners of the coin.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's like a little.
So that's $17.95 for us to do that. Now, we put a lot of money into creating this coin, like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's not cheap we had to hire some nerds to do some sort of coding and
We had to get a graphic designer.
Something to do with blockchaining
And then our image for our coin, which is going to represent our currency, I easily could have just opened up GPT and said, make me an image for my new crypto coin, NHP Coin.
Could have.
I could have said that, and it would have given me like 2 examples, and I would have picked my favorite one and just uploaded it. But that's not what I did. We hired a designer to create our thumbnail image for the crypto coin. It's cutting edge. It's off the hook. And all of these things took a lot of money. So now that we have to buy in to become the owners of it, that's a lot, you know, and we need help from you guys. And if you guys buy it before we do, then I think that they would become the owners. So don't do that. We need to be the first purchase. Otherwise, people can snipe our coin.
Something about sniping. Yeah,
Something about sniping. I don't know what it means.
We don't have all the details.
We just started.
But
Yeah.
we're figuring this out fast. And again, this is something that has the potential to just blow up, to make us all super rich.
So this is exciting. I know that we're probably maybe 2 or 3 years late on this trend.
No, I think we're getting in just in time
because now everybody knows it's settled out.
The bubble burst, and we're at the beginning of a whole brand new bubble. And I know a lot of you are thinking, isn't this something that every podcast and influencer and YouTuber is doing, creating a crypto coin so they can pump it up and then dump it off and make themselves rich while leaving everybody else hanging? No, that's not what we're not planning on. We're pumping, baby.
We're gonna pump.
We're gonna pump. We're just gonna keep pumping. We're gonna keep pumping. We're gonna have diamond hands. Diamond hands means we're not gonna dump. We're not gonna dump.
We're gonna dump. We legally have to say we're gonna dump.
Oh well, we might.
Because this could be a big thing.
We might, but
and we do not need CoffeeZilla on us talking about our new crypto and how we're lying and how we're deceiving people. We're gonna dump.
If we get enough other people pumping, our dumping, it's not gonna make the place crash.
It's not
you know
gonna
what
matter.
I mean? Like as long as you guys are pumping it up, think about it as the structural integrity of a building. If we have all these other columns lifting the building up, if all of a sudden you pull out just me and Mikey, the building's still going to be fine. It's still going to be standard.
Because we're only going to own the 1795.
Yeah.
And then that's going to grow and grow and grow. Then we're going to dump. And that's not even going to be that much.
The important thing is that everybody is pumping in unison, and we balloon this thing into as big as it possibly can be. And then, I mean, if you want to dump here and there, as long as everybody doesn't dump at once, the thing is going to sustain itself, and you can always pump it back up. Once I cash out, I can take another amount that I'm comfortable with and start pumping again.
Start pumping, repump.
It's a sustainable financial currency that has the potential to make us all very, very rich. So again, this is a real thing. It's already on the market. You're gonna put the link in the
links in the description, and that we might even tie this NHP coin into our Bingo Loco.
Okay.
So where you can tip with the coin.
Yes.
On the Bingo Loco shout outs and all that stuff. So this is really exciting. This is cutting edge. And at first crypto happened, people didn't know a lot about it. People didn't understand. They were scared. They bought into the wrong things. They trusted influencers that lied to them, that ended up getting CoffeeZilla'd.
Yeah.
And now that everything's kind of settled down, there's a transparency in the market now.
Yeah, well, when you've
perfect time for us to come.
You've got flash in the pan overnight celebrities like Hawk Tua giving you this coin. Like, of course she's going to pump and dump and be over. But, like, we've been here for how many years, just week in, week out, giving you the truth mostly. And I feel like we have established some sort of integrity with our viewers, and they should take our word for it.
Yeah, you guys should trust us. You don't have any reason not to trust us.
We've never given you any reason to think that we're anything less than completely transparent with you guys. So,
and we're going to dump.
And we even did that episode where we came clean with all the lies that we told you.
Yeah.
So
we're clean slate.
We've always been, just honest Abe with you guys. So like, we really need you to do us this solid and go over and purchase, however much NHP coin you can afford. And I know financial prudency is something that all of our viewers take very seriously, but sometimes you have to go outside of your means, and maybe you take out a loan, maybe you borrow money from a friend or family member, and that way you're able to.
They have like PayPal credit.
Consider you putting them on a prudent investment. So, you know, like tell your friends and family, tell your grandma. Your grandma probably doesn't know much about crypto, and she's supposed to miss out. She's supposed to miss the train ride to the moon.
And this is what you do. You tell grandma to buy in for $10,000 and tell her that there's a $1,000 buy-in fee, but our buy-in fee is really only $500, so you get $500 for yourself.
Buy low, sell high. It's simple. It's simple math.
Simple math. So buy in on that. That's going to be lit. Now I have a new segment that I want to wrap up the show with.
Okay.
Have you been watching the new Channel 5 podcast that Andrew Callahan's been doing?
I watched the one with William Banks this afternoon. Though.
Okay, yeah, that was good. So now that I'm looking back, I don't know if he did it on that one, but a segment that he's been doing on these podcasts is towards the beginning, he'll do a good news segment where he'll do his intro and blah, blah, blah. And then before he gets into the meat of the episode, he'll do a good news segment because the news is so negative all the time, right?
Yeah, mostly.
So he does some good news thing about a puppy being saved or some sort of...
It's always something with
some sort of sweet thing with the puppy, right? So I'm thinking that instead of a good news segment at the beginning, we do a bad news segment at the end.
Okay.
Where we wrap up the show with some bad news.
With some bad news, yeah.
And this week's bad news is has to do with the new Final Destination movie. Are you familiar with the franchise?
I am familiar with the Final Destination movie franchise, yes. I've seen at least the first few of them.
So the 6th Final Destination movie is in theaters right now. Final Destination Bloodlines. The trailer had to do with a piece of glass that was in a drink. So it was like a drink, ice, glass, poured the drink in there. Then everybody's passing it around. Someone's drinking it. They almost drink the glass. And then it ends up on the ground and somebody steps on it. So very suspenseful, very, glass themed, death themed, stuff like that.
Yeah. And
during this Final Destination screening in Perth, Australia, we'll say. I don't remember where it was. Or something like that. The fucking ceiling of the theater collapsed.
I saw that.
During the screening of the movie.
Yeah.
And it crushed a lady.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, at least one lady got crushed.
Very apropos. I mean, Final Destination is notoriously about just unexpected death situations that fate deals you.
Yeah.
So it's definitely some irony there.
Now, Final Destination 4 and Final Destination 5 were both made during the 3D era of cinema, where movies in the theaters were 3D. And everything was like poking out at you.
Yeah.
And everything just looked really, really weird and corny. But they made it also to where you can enjoy it in regular D.
Yeah. 2D.
In the future, So it wasn't all extra 3D, but they had a few things that were in your face. So I'm wondering if this one was also 3D, but it's like a new type of 3D where the ceiling comes down.
You would have to imagine if you're watching that in the theaters and all of a sudden you start seeing like things falling from the ceiling and like it's collapsing. You would have to probably you very quickly realize that it's not part of the movie, but like for a second you'd be like,
yeah.
What? Is this like part of the
you'd be
movie?
Like, man, they're going really. They're
Yeah.
taking a lot of extra steps here.
Yeah.
This is super realistic. This is crazy. Yeah, but no, lady got crushed by this falling ceiling during a Final Destination movie, and that's just terrible news.
It is. It's really bad news. So,
So yeah, I wanted to wrap up with that terrible news, and then that's it. I think you got anything else you want to throw in before we get out of here?
Shit, not really. R.I.P. Sabu.
R.I.P. Sabu. We love you guys. Bye.
See ya.
I don't drink soda.